new to Bet Sports.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to another week. Papa Dude is here, and we're going to do a little bit of everything like we always do on the show. Before we start, though, how's it going? How you feeling this week? You ready for another big show?
I am. I'm feeling good. Got a little bit of allergies, I think, but nothing bad. Just stayed
I've
out
been
too
sick
much
for
last
like
night.
6 weeks, so I don't
Have
know
you?
what. And
Well,
I never have them, so I don't
no,
know.
you don't. I think it's worse this year around here than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I stayed out too late. That's last night. That's the main problem.
There you go. Well, that's
Yeah.
all right. Got to do that.
Blame
every
it
once
on
in a while.
allergies. How about blaming it on myself?
There you go.
But I'm ready to
Well,
go.
Let's talk about the Derby. Let's recap the Derby before we get into the Preakness and the Triple Crown. Don't talk about it yet. Let's just recap the Derby for what it was. Saturday, I thought was a great day. I really thought Friday and Saturday were two great days of racing.
Mhm.
Capped by what I thought was a great Derby. What were your thoughts on Sovereignty and what happened in the Derby?
You know how I feel about the Derby. It's hard for me to analyze the race because there's so many horses you got to watch, and you can't just do it unless you sit there and you're a junkie like probably you are, and you watch it over and over and over again. And I can't do that. I think if you're a Sovereignty fan, it was fantastic. I thought he was great. I don't think you can be too disappointed in journalism. He just got beat. The horse just came out of there and beat him. I thought journalism ran a great race. They did a good job with him.
Yep.
Got him up there where he's supposed to be. And he was the best race he should have won. I thought he was going to, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay. Well, tell me
well, turning for home, I thought he was going to.
That's
he's easily got those horses passed. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Then I looked back and I thought, nope, he's not holding off that horse. He's just moving way, way, way too well.
He was. And
he ran just a massive race, and he got a great ride, and he just beat him on the square, no doubt.
He sure did. And he came from the 18 post, and that's impressive. Just a very impressive run. I guess the potential that everybody thought he had came through. Yeah. But I think it's very interesting when you look at this race at the third, fourth, and fifth finishers. I think you got to give a little shout out to them, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Baeza wasn't even in the race till 2 or 3 days before it. He gets third. I watched Final Gambit. Man, was he ever closing down that stretch?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. He was extremely, that was one we just threw out. Just threw the horse, he can't have, my goodness. Talk about closing.
Yeah.
He was, and then, you got to give credit to Owen Almighty too. He ran a great race. He stayed right in there all the way. Everybody was saying he can't do the distance. And he ran really well. So the other ones, who do you think's the most disappointing?
I think Sandman and Tistastic are disappointing, but I think they also kind of got the trip that a lot of closers get in the Derby, where they just they had trouble here, there, and everywhere.
Far back, couldn't get them all past. It just
Yep.
And that's what happens. So to me, you kind of just throw that out. I think Citizen Bull is a big disappointment, don't you? Just the fact he's just not very good.
No, I wasn't disappointed. He did what I thought he would do. So
I mean, from the Breeders' Cup to now.
Well,
just a terrible disappointment. And but just a great race for Sovereignty. He really ran well and earned it. And I'm happy for Bill Mott.
Yeah, no, for sure. Bill Mott, happy for him as well to get the Derby and get it with, crossing the wire first. And that's, that's just always good to do that. Yeah. Some trip notes like Tistastic did get shut off, but again, that's kind of what happens with closers. Tistastic did try once he got going for sure. Render Judgment did break from the gates. He just wasn't, he was who we thought he was basically, but
exactly.
Still awesome to see that, and boy, did the public latch on to the story around Render Judgment and bet him to just a crazy price. But it is that's the Derby. I think when it comes to the top three, I think they stamp themselves as they're better than everybody else. And then Final Gambit, he's going to be an interesting one because he just has no early speed whatsoever. But boy, can he run late. And he was
flying.
He was flying, and he took the overland route. He was way, way, way wide.
Way outside, yeah.
But he had to be, because he was what, 5-6 lengths behind the 18th place horse. So
and
at
here
one point in the race. And then Owen Almighty, I think, wow, it's like what a horse, to hold on.
Effort, I'll tell you.
All those speed horses were way back, but he stuck around. So
he did.
Yep.
Well, the rest of them faded, but it was I always hate it when the track's the way it is. I just hate it when that track is like that.
Yeah, and when you look forward, Sovereignty runs a career high number by a lot, and a lot of it is the trainer and how good he is at doing that.
Yeah,
and some of it could have been the wet track as well. We'll just kind of see. But my whole thing with journalism, I was really proud of him, because I think he ran the race that he always runs, and he just got beat.
I thought he was going to win for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
When he forged up there, but then the other one was just. And you don't know that maybe journalism doesn't like the track as well as I don't think you can say that, because he ran too good.
Yeah.
To use the track as an excuse, but track gets heavy, and maybe he couldn't handle it as much to close off Sovereignty. Who knows?
I just think he was second best horse. I really thought he ran well. And look, I just think Sovereignty, I thought it was a really good ride. I thought they Junior Alvarado got him into the race a lot sooner, and I think that was huge.
Yeah.
And then by getting him into the race a little sooner, he kind of, without meaning to, and it's just something that happens in the Kentucky Derby, he kind of held Baeza in a little bit longer than maybe he should have. And then once Baeza got out, who knows? He may have been the best horse in that race. He was just flying late.
He was. And this is a horse that wasn't even in the race till 3 or 4 days before. So that's the way this race is. It's so crazy.
And we talk about Junior Alvarado, and again, I've loved every race his horses ran except one, the Florida Derby, and everybody thought, they took it easy on him. I really think it now that we have all the evidence, I think it was Junior Alvarado that he may have been missing in the Florida Derby, because he was just perfect. He did everything perfect. And you think, could his regular rider maybe have made up a couple links and they win the Florida Derby? I think that might be possible now that you see how he fits that horse and what he did in that race. So
I just don't think you enter a race of that magnitude and take it easy. I've never bought that theory.
Bill Mott was pissed after that Florida Derby, and that's the only reason why I say I don't think that's what.
Well, remember we were sitting there and talking about, I think, the race before that. This is not the one he really wants. He's going for.
Yep.
I don't buy any of that shit. I never will. You enter a race, you try to win it. Why do you win the damn thing?
I did the first race. I do think they were just trying to get him going. And as Bill Mott said, and then the second race, I don't really think they were just trying to get him going. I think they're trying to win it. So
he didn't run. He just didn't run today, and that's what happens. But I don't know.
Yeah. Did Baffert win any races outside of goal oriented? I think he won the race on. He won a race on. No, it was Thursday. He won a race on Thursday. Other than that, I can't think of one off the top of my head. I thought Nisos ran really well. Really, Fort Bragg. That's the horse I was thinking of. I thought Nisos ran really well. He just got beat,
Right.
But good.
Do you think? Okay, this is stupid, but do you think Baffert's age is starting to where he's not getting the horses he used to, or his reputation maybe has started to taint him a little, or is it just a cycle where his are good but they're not great?
Having a hard time keeping him healthy.
Yeah.
Ever since the positive test, he's had a hard time keeping him healthy. He's had a hard time running him back as quick as he used to.
Yep.
And
it could just be the cycle. They're not quite as good. That's what he had. And not saying he's not a good trainer. I'm not saying that at all, but it is weird how he hasn't really been that great in the last 2 years.
Yep.
So he's, it happens. It happens.
I mean,
the new generation is taking over, I guess.
probably is going to have the first or second choice in the Preakness next week. So, I would be very careful to say he's done.
No, I'm not saying he's done. He doesn't seem to have the overall quality.
Yeah.
You looked at him, he's in the race, you better bet him.
Well, I think the proof's right there that he had one horse in this Kentucky Derby after all those horses everybody thought were going to be really good, and I thought a few of them were. Well, he had one at the end of the day.
So it's interesting how it goes in cycles like that, but I wouldn't count him out either.
No. All right. Well, you know what? Let's comment on Good Cheer real quick, Kentucky Oaks, because I think she feels like she's been forgotten. But my gosh, she's great.
She is. Yeah. Nobody talks about her.
No. Well, because all this stuff has happened since, but that we're going to talk about in a second. But I thought Good Cheer was excellent in that race. I mean, just a pure professional racehorse. Talking about Good Cheer.
Yeah. What is she like? 7 for 7? Something
7
like that?
for 7 now, and just a no doubt winner. I mean, just poured them on,
There's nothing flashy, nothing fancy about her. She just right there, and when it's time to turn it on, she does.
She's about as robotic as you could get. I mean,
you don't have the excitement of Zenyatta coming from way off the pack, that kind of stuff. You don't have the blazing speed that Rachel Alexander had. You just got a horse that just knows what, like a pro.
Yep, sit mid-pack and go get them.
Just that. Well, I'll let you guys run. The race is over. Whenever I want the race to be over, it will be over. So,
and this is probably the only real shock of the weekend. Torpedo Anna finishing last. Like that's the only race out of the 27 they ran on Friday and Saturday where I was like, oh wow, I can't believe that.
Well, that was just a given. She was going to win.
Yeah.
Form coming in and everything, and again, you got to question this. What happened there? I mean,
something's got to be off, wrong, whatever. With Torpedo Anna, they took her to the veterinary clinic, and they couldn't find anything. So there's nothing wrong with her. So that they could find anyway.
Well, right, there probably isn't.
Yeah.
If she could talk, she'd probably say, "I didn't want to run today."
She may not want to run, period, anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, see, that happens too, and that's what you're kind of wondering a little bit.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they do lose. Don't you think females sometimes lose that a little quicker than men or males? The horses. Sometimes you see a female kind of just hit the road and say, "I'm done."
Usually when a female kind of quits on you, they don't ever kind of regain it. So we'll see what happens with her.
I knew that with Rachel. She kind of told him.
Yeah. Oh, she did. Yeah. And they fought with her a little bit, and she kept running a little bit, and then so yeah.
And they thought, she don't want to run.
Okay. Anymore. Well, as with always in racing, anytime something good happens, it's followed by something bad or controversial to make everybody upset, and that's what happened yesterday. Bill Mott makes the announcement they're not going to run Sovereignty in the Preakness, therefore no Triple Crown attempt. Once again, kind of as it looks like right now, we'll have 2 out of the 19 that are going to try the Preakness, and we may only have 1, but American Promise for Lucas, which at this point I don't even count because we know he's going to do it. Journalism seems to be pointing for the race, but we do not know that for sure, and that is far from a sure thing. So your thoughts on the Triple Crown and everything that's going on with that?
Well, I saw your video, and I can't agree more. And if you're forward thinking and you're wanting the sport to grow and your business depends on it, you've got to change this. If they're not going to run, you don't have a Triple Crown, people. There is no Triple Crown.
Yeah.
So why do you continue to say you have a Triple Crown when they don't run? And I'm not a horse trainer. And anybody who tries to say they're a horse trainer that's never trained a horse, you shouldn't say anything. Yeah. I don't know how they're training them different. I have no idea. I don't know the importance of winning these races, I guess, has changed. The money is in the breeding shed. The horse wins the Kentucky Derby, doesn't have to win anything else. It's going to be a star in the breeding shed, probably. Go on a run again. Hopefully he'll win a couple more through the summer, and then boom, they've got a stud that they're going to make fortune off of.
Yeah.
So I just think, all of us that are on this, we're in the chat and everything today, we're junkies. I mean, we follow it. We love it. We fight it. The public, I'll bet you, if you sit down and you ask 100 people to name 5 racetracks in this country, they might be able to.
Maybe.
10, no way.
No.
They don't watch anything but these races. This is what they watch. There's still tons of people out there that think the only race is the Kentucky Derby on that day. They don't know that they run 13 other races. They just don't know that stuff.
Right.
How is the sport going to grow if your Super Bowl is not being played?
Yeah.
It's not. So there's absolutely no interest in the Preakness for the majority of the people in this country.
Right.
And I think that's the point you're trying to make.
Yep.
So you don't have a chance at a Triple Crown, which is the jewel of racing, and you're too damn stubborn to admit you got to make a change.
Yeah.
You have to. There is no tradition, folks, if the race isn't being run. There's no tradition. Piss on the tradition. It's not, you don't have it. Right?
Yep.
So
this is really our only marketable event that actually gets to the masses. And I know people say, well, the Breeders' Cup's on TV. No. Well, the Breeders' Cup, not a lot of people know about it.
Aaron, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Okay. When we were just minor people and all we did was follow the Triple Crown, did you even know there was a Breeders' Cup?
No.
I didn't either.
No.
And then when I did see they were started to play it up, on TV and ads for the Breeders' Cup, what the hell is that? So
I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about it until Curlin ran in it.
There you go.
And I followed before Curlin. I mean, I would watch the Triple Crown races. I had no idea what anything else was. No.
But would you watch the Triple Crown races if the Kentucky Derby winner lost in the Preakness? Did you watch the Belmont?
No.
And people go, well, if you do that, it cheapens it. Well, so what? Maybe it does, but it's better to have it cheapen a little bit than not have it at all.
Yep.
And it's a very simple solution. You put a month between all the races. You just put a month between them.
Yeah. Before I go on, I want to answer Pedlo's question. I saw it yesterday on VSiN, but I don't have any control over that one, Pedlo, so I couldn't answer it. But the track conditions being harder on horses, I do think there's a lot to that. I think you ask anybody when they run on the slop, it's harder on them. It's harder.
Pedro, let me ask you this. So 20 years ago, do you think that would have been even a thought?
Well, no.
No, it's not. It's not.
But that is something that is a.
Yeah, I agree.
I remember, when Justified came out of it and went on to run and win the 2 races after. I remember them saying, that track is tough on these horses.
Yeah, but they ran him.
Yeah. I know, but it's different thought processes.
It has changed though.
Yeah.
And the way they're training these horses, and I still think they're training them the same. I don't know how you can not.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that they're worth so much money in the breeding shed now.
Yeah.
They want to make sure they don't get them hurt.
Well, and I mean, here's the problem. It's a very complicated answer because you're like, they got to move it. And I mean, it feels like that's got to be something that they're going to have to look at, but how exactly do you do that?
What do you mean? How exactly do you do that?
You're Pimlico. You need to move your race. You tell me how to do it.
I just say you're going to move it.
And then Belmont says, well, we're not moving ours.
Okay, we're going to run it somewhere else, boys. There's a lot of racetracks that like to have your race. So piss on you. You move it.
No, you're not listening. You're not listening. You are Pimlico. You own Pimlico. You say we need to move our race to June.
Yeah.
You move your race to June.
Yeah.
You call Belmont and say, hey, we're moving our race to June.
Okay.
Belmont Park goes, okay, we're not moving ours. What do?
What do I do?
Because in the most simple of situations, I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Okay. Can't then the powers that be in horse racing decide we're going to have the Belmont somewhere else?
No.
Can't do that?
Who are the powers that be in horse racing?
Well, that's what we need.
That isn't a thing, and it's not going to be.
They need that.
There are no powers.
But they need powers. They need
we
somebody
live in a fantasy land, though. That's what I'm
telling
you.
Why doesn't that change? Every other sport
How could it change?
That's
the point I'm trying to make. There isn't any changing it.
Well, you get somebody that's got some rules, and they're everywhere.
How can one person govern tracks that are owned by different people? It's all independent tracks.
Well, that's fine.
And why would any of these tracks obey a person that they don't have to obey?
You change everything. The NFL has a commissioner, right?
But the NFL is under one umbrella.
Well, why can't horse racing be under one umbrella?
Because they're not owned by the same people.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. That's the point.
What I'm saying is, guys, you want to go ahead and run your race and you don't want to be a part of this. You don't want to be a part of this change. Then we'll just do it somewhere else. I still don't see why you can't do that.
How can you do it?
You just say we're going to run we don't have a Triple Crown anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Why? Okay, so let me ask you this. It's 2 weeks to the Preakness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's 3 to the Belmont, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you do the Preakness 3? Why can't you move that back a week? How would that affect anything?
If you move 3 weeks to the Preakness, 3 weeks to the Belmont.
Yeah.
I mean,
why don't you try that and see what would happen?
I guess that it could be something. I don't think it would help.
Force another week.
I don't think it would help, but I think that's something that might be more feasible than, hey, we're just going to run them all 4 weeks apart, and Belmont's just going to, for a rival and a competitor to Belmont's just going to call up and say, hey, we need to move ours, so you're going to have to move yours. And Belmont goes, oh yeah, we'll do that. We'll move the biggest day of our year that we make the most money for no reason to help you out.
Yeah, but wouldn't you?
Not going to happen.
Would you still make money if you moved it? What difference does it make?
It could make a lot of difference, I think.
It could.
If I own Belmont, if I own NYRA, which nobody owns NYRA, it's a state operated, but I would go, sorry.
So what you're telling me is, as we sit here, and you know a lot more about it than I do, is we have no solution.
No.
So
that's what I'm telling you. Yes.
Okay.
There's no solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have an issue this big, there is no solution.
So Patrick is like, F New York, basically. Here's the problem. It's all me, me, me. Exactly. He's right.
I agree with you. So
he's right. Because could the Belmont move to July? And probably it's going to be fine. Yeah, they could. They absolutely could.
Yeah.
But how does it benefit NYRA to help Pimlico? It doesn't.
Okay. So there's got to be some sort of collaboration amongst all of the tracks. Okay.
There needs to be for this event. Yes.
So you come up with a commission of prominent people in the horse racing industry, owners, trainers, that's jockeys. You get some of the most well-known people. You get together and you have meetings like other sports do, and you go, guys, are we satisfied with where we're at? And if you are, then we'll just leave it the way it is. Or do we want the sport to grow? Now, personally, looking at the way I'm looking at it right now, I don't think they give a shit. I don't think these tracks care.
Here's the problem. And that's the next piece of it. Okay, let's pretend in this world that you've created, this happens.
Yeah.
And you go, guys, are you okay with what's going on? Naira's going to say, yeah. Kentucky or Churchill Downs is going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Pimlico's going to say no. Who carries more weight in the horse racing industry out of those three?
Well, it's the tracks, I guess.
No, it's Churchill Downs and Belmont. They carry, or Naira, I should say. Churchill Downs and Naira carry 20 to 30 times more weight than Pimlico.
Right. They're the little stepchild.
And who stands to benefit if Pimlico struggles, shuts down, whatever? Those two tracks.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't understand how people are having a hard time seeing. Yes, you've got this solution, and it's in from a above perspective. Yeah, no, that makes sense. You space them out. Everybody will play nice, and we'll get this thing fixed. I don't think that's going to be what Naira or Churchill Downs tries to do. First of all, Churchill doesn't care about any of this because they're perfect. They're fine. Everything's good.
They got the first race. So what are they?
So they're not worried about it.
No,
and Belmont has created the Belmont Stakes Day used to kind of just be about the Belmont. Now there's so much around it and such, so many big races that they don't care. They're not sitting there worried about this one bit because they don't need the Triple Crown to be on the line for them to make a ton of money. They don't.
It doesn't mean anything. So,
yeah.
And by the time the Belmont comes around too, a lot of times there's no chance of a Triple Crown winner anyway.
No. And I mean, Naira's probably sitting there thinking, you know what, maybe Pimlico goes away and then the Triple Crown is Kentucky Derby. And then we'll go Belmont, and then we'll go Travers, and then we'll have two of the three jewels.
Let me throw this out here to you.
Okay.
How much money do they make off television?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, so who has the Preakness? Does NBC have the?
I think NBC has all three, don't they? NBC may have.
I was thinking they had two of them.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know this for sure, but I think the Belmont's on Fox now.
Okay. I was thinking NBC had two of them. I was thinking they had the Belmont and the Kentucky Derby, and the Preakness was with somebody else, but I don't know.
No, I think the Preakness is NBC.
Okay. What if NBC goes and says we ain't doing this? We're not gonna pay this kind of damn money and get all this advertising, try to sell this advertising when there's no chance of a Triple Crown. What would happen then? They still wouldn't care.
I think Naira would smile from ear to ear and think, great, I've got Fox for my Travers and I've got Fox for my Belmont, and NBC can have the Derby, and here we go. I mean,
whatever network has the Preakness has got to be pissed.
Oh, they have to be. Yeah. Yeah.
They got to be throwing a fit.
They have to be. Yeah.
Because I don't imagine if you don't have a chance at a Triple Crown, how are you going to sell advertising?
I don't know.
Can you imagine what the viewership's going to be for that race?
It can't be good.
Because what is it going to be, like 8 or 9 horses in it anyway?
Yeah, field of 9. Here, I'll read them if I had it ready here. Field of 9. If journalism comes right now, it's a field of 9.
Field of 9. And 7 of them didn't run the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah. There's really no stories of. I mean, Baffert's there, so I guess that's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you got theoretically the 20 best horses in the country ran in the Kentucky Derby, and now you got 7 newcomers to the Preakness, and the odds are one of them might win it. That cheapens everything too. I don't get it.
This is actually a realistic option.
Flip flop them.
Move the Preakness to July, and the Preakness is the last leg. It pretty much it would ruin what we know of as a Triple Crown for sure, but that is something Pimlico could do.
Well, why would it ruin it?
Well, I wouldn't ruin it. It would definitely change it quite a bit because you'd be running 1.25 miles, then 1.5 miles, then 1 3/16. I mean, it would be different for sure.
You're not running 1.5 miles now.
Well, that's another point. That's the other point about it. Why
don't you change that? Don't run 1.5 miles.
If Naira really cared, about this,
they
would have found a way to run it at 1.5 miles.
They didn't though. They just flipped it on over there.
Yeah,
they don't care about that. Okay, so you run. So you would run the Belmont 2 weeks after the Kentucky Derby, and they'd have to run 1.5 miles. It's not happening.
Probably not.
I don't know anything about training horses. And I don't even begin to think I do, but I would think common sense. The Belmont's the hardest race to win, right?
Yeah.
It's not. Kentucky Derby is, but the Belmont's hard.
Yeah.
Because of the 1.5 miles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you? I don't think you would gain anything unless you had the Belmont 3 weeks after the Kentucky Derby.
Well, no, the Belmont wouldn't move. The Belmont is going to stay right in June.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Then you go to July.
You got like 5 weeks to the Belmont.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks for the Preakness after the Belmont.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. That might work.
No.
What?
May. First Saturday in May.
Yeah.
Derby. Belmont doesn't change. First around the first week of June.
That's what I said. It'd be like
first week in July. You have 4 weeks between them all.
That's what I meant. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good. I think that's a very simple solution.
So Randy Moss was on in the Muddy Media. I can't remember who he was on with. And he says that NYRA is willing to review it once Belmont is complete.
Okay. Well, okay. If you move the Belmont.
And I watched this. I watched the video.
Okay.
I think NYRA, I think Randy Moss has been I think Randy Moss is great, number one. I think he's very logical, calm. It was a good video. I think Randy's been here long enough to know it's probably not going to happen. I'm sorry. I've been in racing long enough to know I don't think they'll play ball unless what you're saying, somebody forces their hand, and I don't know who that
ask you this.
I don't know who it would be.
If I'm the Belmont, I think that would be good to be second. Because if you're last, the odds of you having any hope in the Triple Crown isn't that good. And I would think there would be more interest in the Belmont going second if you could get the Kentucky Derby horse to run in the Belmont. I think that would be to their advantage to be second. Now, maybe not, because if you do have a horse that's won the first two, then you don't have that third race. But if they didn't have to move their race, right? That's what you're saying. I don't know why they wouldn't. Well, they are willing to talk about it, so they're thinking about it.
I don't think they're thinking about it. I would say this. I think Pimlico is they're in big. They got a big problem, and they've either got to just say, you know what, we're pressing on with it and forget it, which they could. Well,
aren't the powers to be wanting that race somewhere else anyway?
Not anymore.
Not even because they're building a new track, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to refurbish it and everything.
It's going to be Laurel next year, right?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's going to go to Laurel while they refurbish. So it's a mess anyway. The Triple Crown's a mess. It has been. It's a mess for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, because these tracks are redoing stuff.
Yeah, well, one of our subscribers, Douglas Rutherford, emailed me and he's like, I was kind of looking at this because he's very upset about it, as is most people are upset about it. And honestly, all of us are probably putting more kind of thought into it than the people that are in charge, to be honest. That's why I told Douglas, I said, you and I probably talked about it more than they've thought about it. Oh. But anyway, and he kind of pointed out to me, he's like, it's kind of a mess the next 4 or 5 years anyway. Like, yeah, kind of is. So maybe
it might be a time to try it.
Might be time to try it, or just wait it out. And once everything's done and over, now we'll see where we're at with it.
I don't know anything about training a horse, and I don't know how they're training them different. I guess they're just working them out different, right?
I just think they're weaker.
Okay.
I think the breed is weak. They're not as sturdy as they used to be.
Well, okay. So I don't know what the reasoning is for that. And again, I don't know. I don't know anything about that, but yeah. So now, okay, we're getting soft and everything. So now we're going soft on horse racing.
Yeah,
we're putting softer horses. It's like athletes. They're softer than they used to be. Now we got horses that can't handle it.
I know. I know. It's crazy.
I would like D. Wayne's opinion on this because he doesn't seem to worry about how he's training.
Well, I mean, his opinion is going to be just run them and forget it. But here's the problem: like, there are people that have that kind of that thought process. Not run them and forget it, but hey, push them. They're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of people. They're not a lot. They're going away. But there are, like, Kenny McPeak would be there. I think Mark Cassie would be there. I think Asmussen would be there.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Baffert. You know, there's guys out there, but it's becoming more of a trend the other way. You know?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But let me ask you this: when Sovereignty won and Bill Mott's the trainer, the first thought in my mind is they will be in the Preakness. I thought he would.
I thought he would until I read the comments after the race. Saturday night, I looked and kind of reading, and I thought, oh boy, this is like right then and there. Saturday night, I thought, okay, I got how do we talk about this once this happens? Because I just kind of
just had the vibe that it wasn't.
Yeah, he was just hey, we're not worried about 5 weeks. We're worried about a career. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, and I was thinking this might be his last chance to ever win a Triple Crown. I was thinking that way, but they don't think that way nowadays.
I think certain people do and certain people don't. And I think to Bill Mott, I don't think that's important to him.
No, I don't either. I like him.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, seems like. And he's honest, I think. And
another thing, and Mott said, hey, I've got the Travers circled with this horse. I really want to go win the Travers. And that's like, well, I get it,
Yeah, I do too.
And here's the other thing. Like, he clipped heels. Maybe that took something out of him. I know he got back to the track yesterday. I haven't.
It didn't look to me like it took anything out of him.
But I mean,
maybe the next day, yeah.
I don't know. We don't know what's wrong with him or anything. You'd think if he was kind of, he's really tired, they would have said, oh, he's really tired. But
they didn't really say anything.
Yeah.
But it's kind of skirted the issue.
Yeah.
The problem is, the Travers, that's important. Okay, the whole issue is here, I think, is the sport going to grow? Yeah. Right?
Well, this goes back, before you go on, this goes back to what I was trying to say a minute ago, and we got off on something else. This is it, like, to reach the masses, this event is it. And really, it's the Derby, and then we just kind of hope people stick around for the last two because of the story of the Triple Crown. This is it. And so it'll be a whole nother year before we get these people back. And people may think I'm exaggerating. Trust me when I say that, because I'm in the industry. I've been in the industry a long time now.
Yeah.
My neighbor's not going to ask me about the Preakness.
Oh, no.
It's that simple.
No one's going to ask me either.
No. And it's as far as general interest from the outside people, it's over. And you might say, well, who cares? They don't follow it anyway. But that's how you get people. That's how I got into it. That's how he got into it. And there may be other stories where people got into it differently, and that's fine. But people get hooked on it with this kind of stuff. Like, this is what starts it. And when you only get one, and then they're gone, they won't be back till next year.
Yeah. I don't know how many people that know nothing about horse racing, but know that I'm in it. They came up to me and go, who's your pick?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to win? Who do you think's going to win this race? And they were interested, They were going to watch.
Yep.
I haven't had one soul say anything to me this week.
No, because they're not going to, they just don't, he's not in it. They didn't read, oh my God, he's in it. We got to watch it. You know what I mean?
All right. So here's a philosophical question here. Does this sport need this to change? Because do that many people care? You have to be in the industry to care.
Yeah, I think for the vast majority of people, if you're trying to get new people involved, they will not care that it changes. Like, that's not gonna. But for us, I think, it's good. Like, talking to John Wyatt, he's like, if you change it, it's not what it used to be. And I totally agree. It's like, no, it's not.
Well, maybe it's not, but.
Well, my pushback to that's always been every sport that we enjoy day in and day out has evolved with time.
You have to make changes.
Yeah. Like, I'm just using John as an example, but it's
Sure.
everywhere. It's like John White and I talk about baseball 24/7.
Yeah.
Baseball has changed tremendously, right? But
Well,
we still watch it and enjoy it. So,
okay, to me, used to be a baseball guy, not anymore. To me, putting a runner on second base in the 10th inning to start the damn inning is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Hate it.
It's ridiculous.
Yes, but we watch.
What was the outcry about that? Nobody.
Well, there's outcry, but at the same time, people are watching it still.
Yeah.
I mean, like basketball, putting a shot clock in and then changing the shot clock. I mean,
well, the biggest change in basketball was the 3-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely changed. Game.
Adding a 3-point line, and we're still watching it, and that's the thing.
Well, I mean, it made it better.
Racing.
It's more exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, 3-pointers are just, well, that's all teams do now. You better be able to shoot the 3 or you're not going to win. Yeah. And did you see the other night where Boston shot 60 threes?
Mm-hmm.
They made 15 threes, but missed 45.
Yep.
That is the most, I'm sitting there and watching the game. I don't realize they're shooting that many. Mm-hmm. That's unreal. But anyway, back to this. I don't know. Okay, first of all, it's not a good TV sport because there's too much time between the races.
Right.
And there's nothing you can do about that. So, the horse racing channels, they do it right. They flip from track to track to where they can cover that down.
Right.
Nothing boringer than the coverage of the Kentucky Derby, spending an hour and a half going over the horses.
Yeah, I agree.
People don't watch that.
No.
You don't want to hear that. You just want to see the race.
Yeah.
But they got to make money, so they got to sell enough advertising to cover all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's ever going to be a TV sport. I just don't.
No, I don't either.
Saturday at the races and, like you used to have Saturday baseball only or something, and you cover these big races, but 90%, 99% of the public don't even know what the Traverse is.
Right.
They don't know what it is.
Right. Yeah. Or care.
So
they don't have any desire to know what it is.
Right. Yeah. So we have this Triple Crown that's so important. You got a trainer here saying, well, we're really pointing towards the Traverse.
Yeah.
Well, I don't get that either. They're just, you're right. You hit the nail on the head, and I never thought of it because you're in it and I'm not. There is no organization. There's no continuity.
Yeah.
It's every man for himself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and they're all, it's just like, imagine if I told this to the people over VSiN yesterday, and they were like, oh, that would be a mess. Imagine if every NFL division was owned by different entities that all hated each other.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a commissioner, there wasn't anything. It's just these divisions are all acting on their own, and then everybody expects them to work together when it comes playoff time.
Yeah,
it's like how's this going to work?
No, you have to have a governing body.
Well, you have to, but you can't. And again, you can't. There's no way you can have a governing body in racing.
Well, you could if everybody wanted to do it, but they don't. So. If all the tracks were cohesive enough to try to work together, like all one big family,
right.
Hey, this is good for us. Let's make this good for you.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. But they're not willing to do it. And so.
Well, maybe they'll surprise me and something will happen and they'll work together, but it would be the first time. I would tell you that.
So you've got NYRA on the East Coast. Then you got Kentucky and all of those tracks.
Twin Spires owns most of them. Yeah.
Okay. Those are your two big.
Well, they don't all of them, but Kentucky Downs now, actually. Yeah. Twin Spires is Kentucky, all of Kentucky except Kentucky Downs, and they have Fairgrounds as well.
Oh, they got Fairgrounds as well.
Yeah, and I think there's some loose affiliation with Oaklawn. They don't own them or anything, but I think they kind of work together.
Okay, but you've got NYRA and their own little shit. You got Kentucky, which rules the world probably of horse racing. Does anyone care out west?
I mean, they're owned by the Stronach Group, talking about Santa Anita and then talking about Gulfstream, and They
but
do.
They do
don't. They would rather not be in the horse racing business. Yeah.
Okay. So it's NYRA in Kentucky, basically, right?
I mean,
the main.
They're the two that are invested in racing, to some degree, even though Twin Spires has shut down tracks. But their product that they have now, yeah, they carry the most weight. Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
If there is somebody in charge, it's those two groups.
Yes. They would be closer to work together, even though they still really don't than most. Yes.
So if anything's going to get done, those two groups have got to be the ones that decide we need to make a change.
Yes. Yeah. They're going to have to. Well, really, Churchill in this case doesn't have to do much because you're not moving the Kentucky Derby. That'd be insane.
No, and that's
yeah.
They're locked in. They're solid.
Right.
Yeah. So all the rest of this doesn't affect them at all.
Right. It's more of NYRA would have to work with Pimlico in this situation.
Yeah.
Like if they could sit down and have discussions and move it and work together, then it could be quote unquote fixed as far as spacing the races out.
But the bottom line is it's not hurting them in the pocketbook.
The other thing, and I don't know if it'd fix it, but if like you said, if Pimlico pushed back a week and then Belmont pushed back a week, they might be able to do that. I hadn't thought about that, but they might. I don't know how it would fix it, if it would be enough to fix it, but that is something that's possible.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, but the whole part, well, we change it cheapens the Triple Crown. You don't have a Triple Crown now. That's what I tell people. You just don't have it.
You have it if the trainer that wins the Derby is aggressive, you still have it. If it's not, you don't.
But 5 out of the last 8 years, right?
Yeah, 3 out of the last 6 now.
Okay, and sometimes there's an injury involved.
Yeah,
in that, but
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that naturally it can happen as well, and nothing you can do about that. But
it's a debate that we're never going to solve. But all other sports have changed over the years.
Yep.
College football, look at how much it's changed as far as their playoff format.
Yep.
March Madness used to be 16 teams.
Yeah.
So, and most of these, I mean, the jury's still out on the football playoff. I thought it was a success, but a lot of people don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will in time be a success.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly tinkering with it, but these sports depend on television more than the Kentucky Derby, or than horse racing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much more money involved in these other sports involving TV, and I think that's a large part of it. And this is just a sport. Let's face it. Todd and I were talking the other day. The reason your business is so successful is people are lazy. And if you handicap these races, you can work your ass off doing that.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do it.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but
you don't? I do.
No.
The average fan's going to sit down and handicap those races?
Yeah, I think so. I think people like to handicap.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're saying they need our picks, and then they take our picks and handicap the race and use our picks as kind of a guide?
That's what I mean. Okay. I can't speak for every single person that buys, but I think that's what they should do.
They use what we
gotta tell them to do.
They figure, they trust our advice, and then they're going to handicap their own.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't know that they all do, but it's okay.
I mean, some of them maybe no, but some of them yes. I mean, I think the reason your business is successful if people are lazy, I think is not true or accurate in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know how he would be qualified to even say that.
I guess because he gets tired of handicapping all the time.
Yeah, but he doesn't understand or even know what we do. So I don't think that that's true. I think it's a little bit of both. I think
Yeah.
Sometimes people just play it blindly and sometimes they don't,
Well, it is hard to handicap.
Yeah, it is. But I do think people like to handicap.
Okay.
Like we're getting mixed reviews. Some people are like, yeah, it takes too long. And I like, maybe I'll look at it a little bit,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think most
it's very
people,
tedious work.
It is, but I think a lot of people like the puzzle of it,
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah. So I don't think that's true. I think it always helps in this sport because of the tedious situation, because of
it's every day,
the time and all that stuff. I do think you do kind of, once you're done being like, okay, let me get somebody else's opinion on this. Let me see what they say.
Well, and it's every day too.
Mm-hmm.
That, it can get monotonous.
And this is kind of, this is the thing. Like, okay, if I say I need to do a VEASAN spot, it's a 12-minute spot. I need 4 plays to give them for whatever sport. 10 to 15 minutes, and I've got them.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that with horse racing.
No, and that's the thing, and that's the other thing, and why I think if we had a sports site, I think most people can look at a sporting event and pick a side, looking at a couple things, right?
Yeah.
They don't really need. They might want to listen to your opinion, but they're not. They don't really need to buy it. It's like, yeah, hey, I understand football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this horse racing shit, like, I think I might know, but I kind of need to look at somebody else that does it day to day.
What you're saying, horse race, there's too many variables. There's too many things that can happen. And and the other thing, most people have grown up watching football, and and they kind of can tell who's better than the other team, or they think they know who's better than the other team.
Right.
So yeah. I'm just like you. It doesn't take me near as long to sit down and pick a sporting event.
Right.
With horse racing, takes me 3 times longer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do both every day, and my sports picks, when I'm putting them on there, I don't know, by the time I type it and everything, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The other hour and a half at least,
Yeah.
So maybe even 2 hours, because I do some of it the night before. So
yeah, it's just a whole different animal.
It is. Yeah. So I think maybe the consensus of this great debate here is, I don't know if there's anything we can do about it.
That's just it. I think
you've kind of convinced me there's not much we can do about this.
I'm going to give you an answer that I don't think is the best answer, but I think might be the only answer. I think they have to keep it how it is.
I think they do too. And it may evolve when they start training horses different again, and I don't know.
I think this is a good point too. Whoops. I'll read the other one as well, but you need to love horse racing to handicap it. You don't need to love the other sports. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
And this is true too. The bettors are always the last person they think about, but the bettors are the game.
Well, yeah.
None of this goes anywhere if there's not betting. So, but they always seem to want to get screwed.
I've always said too, 95% of the races at the racetrack you go to involve horses that are not very good.
Well, and yeah.
So,
and isn't it something that the claimers can run every 2 to 3 weeks? No problem.
They don't have a problem. We're training them to do this. Yeah.
Yeah. My horse would never work out. He just run every 2 or 3 weeks.
He don't need to work out. This guy knows what he's doing.
Well, I would ask him. I would say, "Well, does he work?" He goes, "Well, when do you have time to work him? You just run him." No.
We take him out, walk him around a little bit, let him jog the track.
Yeah, but your stakes horse over here runs once every 2 months.
What has Kelly always told you about the old claimers? Their work, and they run every 2 weeks. They don't run fast enough to get hurt. Isn't that what he's always told you?
Yeah. He said, "Oh, we don't deal with a ton of injuries. Most of the barn's not fast enough to get hurt." Like, that's true. Mine never got hurt. I never had an injury.
And I love those horses. I love those guys that run till they're 8 or 9 years old.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just they may win 2-3 races a year, but they just keep doing it. And it's just,
yeah.
By the way, before we get off this, I saw a quote from Ron Moquett that I like Ron a lot. I shouldn't call him Ron. I don't know him, but I do like him. And he made a point that I've always thought too. And there's nothing you can do about this. He was talking about something that could really improve racing is to run these champions till they're 4 and 5 years old.
Oh yeah.
Because then we follow this horse. We only get to follow these champions for like a year.
He's right. He's right.
That's what you can do. And
the problem is though, okay, that you're right. I mean, Ron, you're spot on.
Oh, he's spot on.
Now come up with the plan to get that done.
Well, and he admitted that. He goes, I can't.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Yeah.
He said, I can't argue with the fact you got a horse that's going to make you a fortune in the breeding shed. You got no choice. He goes, but man, we get used to this horse. That's what got us on Curlin so much is they turned around and ran him when he was 4.
Yeah.
And would they run him like 7, 8 times?
Yeah. Yeah. He had an owner that had a lot of money and he liked to watch him run. So I ran him. And that happens sometimes.
Yeah. And of course, Whitmore, but Whitmore was gelded. So that was a different story. But how many people came to the racetrack at Oakland to see Whitmore?
Oh yeah, tons.
And that was the whole appeal of Zenyatta.
Yeah,
she ran till she was 6.
Yep.
And people came. The crowds were there just to see her. How many times have you ever been at a racetrack and people got signs, Zenyatta's, or for a horse? You don't see that,
right? Yeah. And you know, Moquett's had a 2 or 3 like that have been fan favorites. And like I said, Whitmore definitely could have been a stud, but he was gelded. And you know, some of those horses, they just, you know, like a Jonesboro back when we first started. Look up Jonesboro, kids. You probably don't know him, but he was kind of a local. Here he is, but you know, he stands in like Arkansas for $1,000 now as a sire, so he didn't get to that level.
Who was that horse that Iowa bred? Something Kate.
Oh, Kate's Main Man. Yeah,
Kate's Main Man. That horse was what? It was a he.
Yeah, it was a he.
Kate, so I always call it a she.
But again, it's an Iowa bred, and the breeding in there. But you get to where you want to watch him run.
Every time that horse was racing, I was watching.
Yeah, Red Hot and Gold was one. I mean, there's
another one.
All kinds of ones you can look up.
They're just you become attached to them because they win enough to keep you interested.
And Moquett has been around horses like that. Like Win Willie was a horse that was kind of a legend there for a while.
Ran him for a while.
But again, when you get an American Pharaoh, well,
no, you can't. I mean, you got to do it in the shed. You got to start making money.
But what can you can't? I mean, I don't know how you stop it. That's the problem.
Well, that's true.
Hey, there's a good one. There's a more of a recent one. Rated R Superstar.
Oh, one of my favorite all-timers. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
But that's just something that you just can't tell an owner, hey, you need to run him. So, because we want to watch him. Well, what if he gets hurt and he's lost all that? Think of the money Curlin has made.
Yep.
His owners over the years.
I know.
In that breeding shed and continues to.
Yeah. And that's the problem. The money's in the money in it. And there's no, I mean, it's not dangerous. They're going to be, they're living the life, you know.
I think that's why they're training horses different.
Oh, I think there's no question about it.
That's
because if my stupid horse can run every 2 weeks, that one can too, but they're just scared to death because of what they're worth.
And you can't blame them.
No, I don't. No. Yeah.
Anyway, because the other thing too, people say, well, they're making money when they win a race. Yeah, but they gave like $750,000 for the horse to begin with. It takes a long time to get your investment back.
Yeah. Yep.
You better win a couple of huge races. So
absolutely,
you don't make any money running, winning races. You just don't.
Well, I mean, you do, but you're also paying bills 24/7 and entry fees, and you got to get your license I mean, it's a whole ordeal.
You're just doing it because you like to win races. You like to.
Yeah. Well, and again, this is a general statement. Like most people are at the high level are racing to get to the breeding shed.
Exactly.
That's what that's the goal is. So that's why when people go, Sovereignty wasn't geared up for this grade 1 race. Bullshit, he wasn't, because a grade 1 race means a whole hell of a lot to these people. Trust me on that one.
Well, just think, he won the Kentucky Derby. He's going to, oh my God, think of the money they just made. They made $3 million winning the Derby.
Yeah.
And then boom, he's going to be in the breeding shed, and God knows how much money he'll make.
And I think, to Manlow's point, I was not going to play Sovereignty in the Preakness to win or on top in anything. And this is why Bill Mott, if you follow Bill Mott, he gets a horse to pop at the right moment, at the biggest moment. But then 2 weeks later, he probably is not going to show that race again. He needs more time after that. So I don't think Sovereignty would have won the Preakness, to be completely honest. Well, I'll back up. I don't know who's going to be in the race, but
Then, again, those of us that don't know anything about horse training, which is me, it's hard for me to figure out, what do you mean he can't win? How do you train this damn? Why can't he cut you up? But there's the way they train him.
I told the guys last night, because they're trying to put me on the spot. Not trying, but they were like, well, what do you think? Is this smart? It's not. I have no idea. I have never trained a horse, and I sure as hell don't need to be telling Bill Mott what to do with his.
I know.
So I don't know,
No.
Now, if Ron Moquette wants to come on and make a comment on that, that's great. He's trained him, at least.
For sure. Yeah. He knows.
Yeah, exactly. And Moquette was on that show 15 minutes before I was on last night, and I made sure to say that. I said, if you call him back up and ask him that question, that's not a question I'm qualified to answer. No. Now, a lot of the YouTube commenters think they're qualified, but I am not. So
of course. Absolutely.
I'm not gonna, it is what it is.
Well, that was a great discussion.
Yeah. I would just say, look, he can do what he wants, and they can do as an ownership group what they want. Like,
I have no problem with that at all. It's just so it's so disappointing to the fan.
And, for sure. And trust me when I say I share in the just being upset and whatever word you want to put there. I'm with all of you. I said in the video, I hate this video and I hate that we're doing it. But
and we've just spent an hour and we've accomplished nothing.
Because there's nothing any of us can do.
We can do.
Even sometimes, in rare cases, public outrage will embark change. That's not what this is. No.
There's not enough people that are that invested in the sport.
Nope.
That's what it is. So anyway.
Well, all right. Do you want to talk about sports real quick?
I got something I got to get off my chest, so we'll get into that.
All right. Well, you do. What do you want to talk about first?
Get to the NBA first. I mean, it's in the we'll do it when we get to the NBA.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, let's just talk quick about these games/series. Okay. Tonight, we do have the Hurricanes and the Capitals. Hurricanes won game 1 in overtime.
Yep.
Game 2 here. I kind of like Washington tonight. I don't like them for the series. I do like them tonight. What do you think?
I didn't think they played very well in game 1.
No.
They could have won. Their goalie was fantastic. They could have won.
Yeah.
They got to come back with a much better effort tonight. They're not as good as Carolina. And you look at I don't know. There was something about them all year long. We were not high on them.
Mm-hmm.
They won 51 games. Yeah. And it's second best record in the league, but there was something about them that they lost games they shouldn't. I think they're going to come back with everything they got tonight, and I think they're going to win. Because here's the deal. Carolina can't score.
Yep.
And when you can't score, you've always got a chance to beat them. I would take the under in this game, too. It's 5.5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it's 3-2. Real easy, or 3-1. So I like the Capitals tonight.
Yeah, I like the Capitals tonight. I like Carolina for the series still.
Me too.
All right, Oilers and the Golden Knights, and the Golden Knights just got destroyed in game 1 of this. They get out to a 2-0 lead real quick, and then they just got absolutely boat raced out of their own building. Mm-hmm. The Oilers just skated right past them. I thought the Golden Knights were pretty shaky in the first series.
Mm-hmm.
This is a better team with more speed and more lines. I'm pretty worried about the Golden Knights. What about you?
Must win tonight.
I don't think they will. I think the Oilers are better.
Okay, if Edmonton gets goaltending, aren't they the best team in the league?
Yes.
That's the whole key to them. They've shored up their defense.
Mm-hmm.
The goaltender It's the last line of defense, and if he plays well, they've got everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And you got dynamic scorers that, man, they're hard to stop for a whole game when you're getting good, consistent defense behind them.
And just to jump in real quick, this is the key. So Minnesota's top line killed Vegas, but the other three lines did nothing. In game one of this series, all the lines were killing Vegas. And so that's the key. If they keep getting that, they're going to be really tough to beat.
Yeah. I kind of think Vegas may win tonight, but the smart money is to go ahead and take Edmonton at plus money.
I took Edmonton plus money. Yeah. I think it's a 4 or 5 game series based on what I saw.
And I took the under in this one too. It's 6.5 tonight. I see 4-2.
It's going to be tough to hit it, I think, with the way they're scoring, but we'll see. I thought Aiden Hill played great in game one and still gave up 4 goals.
Yeah, but it was only 4-2, right?
Yeah, it was 4-2. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm kind of thinking maybe that tonight too.
It could have been like 8-2. All right, let's go. I mean, I could see the under. If it for Vegas to win, it better go under.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Friday's game series.
Toronto.
Boy, oh boy, this is a fun team right now. Toronto really came through 2 really good performances.
So happy.
They're major underdogs back here in Florida. This feels like a 6 or 7 game series to me.
I think so. I think Florida's going to get this one, but I don't, God, plus 195 is awful tempting, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. You can't really bet Florida at minus 230.
No. Oh, no. Yeah. I don't know what the over-under is in that one because I haven't looked yet. But, reading those statistics, I did not realize Toronto had not won a first-round playoff since 2002.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine what's going to happen up there if they win the Cup? I think it would just be unbelievable.
I think they're extremely alive right now.
Yes, they are.
I think the winner of this series is going to the Stanley Cup. I just think these 2 teams are better.
I do too.
But I don't know then whoever wins the series, if they can beat who comes out of the West. That would be an incredible series.
Yeah. I'm pulling for it too. And 2 gut check games. They got them in Toronto. They had to win them. They did.
Yep.
I think Florida gets this one.
I do too.
Yeah. And they may get to the next one. So
I think it's going 6 or 7 for sure. I think it's a good series.
Yep.
All right. I'm with you, Florida here. I
know.
I kind of think Toronto's going to do it. I think they're going to win the series.
I do too. I'm picking them to win this series.
All right, let's go Stars and Jets. Pretty good game last night. Dallas gets the job done. Rantanen with back-to-back hat tricks. Now, they've been incredible how they were able to beat Colorado and then win the game 1 here. All right, what do you think?
I think they're better.
Yes.
I can't take Winnipeg. I just have to take Dallas.
I don't think Winnipeg's a playoff team.
Well, they're a playoff team, but
I don't think they're a good playoff team, I should say.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't want to get into how the Blues lost. I don't want to rehash it. But one thing that helped me get over it very quickly, the Blues weren't beating Dallas. I don't think the Blues are that good. I think the Blues got every ounce of themselves that they could get.
I think so too. I think the hockey gods kind of said, "You're not that good."
Yeah.
2 of the luckiest goals I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That first goal, that redirect, I have never seen and I've watched a million hockey games.
It's crazy.
That was craziest redirection you've ever seen.
Yep.
Have you ever seen one go sideways and go over the shoulder of the goalie? No. And he had 6 inches to get it in there.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Of a rocket shot, a rocket.
Yep.
From almost by the blue line, hits the guy's stick and boom.
It was crazy.
And
I've never seen anything like
it. The third goal it was the same guy.
Yeah.
Redirected both of them.
Yep.
You could stand there in front of that net and no goalie there and not redirect that thing and get it in the net. The first one. Now the second one, maybe you would, but
you
just lost the game on just flukes and sickening. But
and I told Heather when Vucevic iced the puck with 46 seconds left, when he had all the space in the world, he had Thomas up the wing. I said they just lost the game.
Yeah, they did.
Because that's a tap in. If they execute, it's a tap in, empty net. This game's over.
Yeah, they. If you want to knock them, you got to knock them on that. But
listen, they're the worst 5v6 team in the league. They have been all year.
I saw those statistics. I couldn't believe it.
I could because I watch them.
Yeah,
they blew so many games like that. So
they do.
And anyway, this series, I think it's all Dallas.
I do too.
Okay.
I like Dallas to come out of the West.
All right, let's go to the NBA. You said you had a rant. On
the NBA. It's kind of made better by what happened last night.
So you want to talk Thunder? So let's go to these games Friday. It's an even series. Thunder blew game 1. So go ahead.
Well, they did, but come on. What in the hell were they doing? Fouling.
I don't know.
They had it. Okay. There was too much time left to be doing this.
Yeah.
We're like 20 seconds left.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing.
I'm sitting there and I'm watching this. And I have to admit, it was late and I slept through a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I woke up and they'd had a big lead and it was down to like 7, I think. So it was, they were ahead by 3 with like, I don't know, 20 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's less than that. Maybe it's 15, something like that. You have a 3-point lead. The worst they can do if they hit the 3 is tie it.
Mm-hmm.
And say they shoot it, you've still got plenty of time to go down and score to beat them.
Yep.
So get out on the 3-point shots. Give up a 2.
Yeah.
They foul.
I know.
And I'm sitting there going, in my sleepy slumber, I'm going, what in the hell are you doing? And he goes up there and he makes the 2 free throws. Okay, you're still up 1. Of course, they're going to foul you.
Yeah.
But they're just assuming they're going to make their free throws.
I know.
Okay, so they do. So they make 2. So they're up 119, 116. Okay, you wait. You don't foul when they inbounds the ball.
Yeah, I know.
And one time they fouled when Jokic was on the bench. They had taken him out for defense, offense things because he had 5 fouls. The best player on the team is on the bench and you foul.
I know. It's crazy.
So then they put him in and they foul him. And he goes and makes the 2 free throws. And then Denver fouls the Thunder. And what happens? Mr. Overrated himself, Holmgren, misses them both.
Yeah. Yep.
And then they come down, hit a 3, and you get your ass beat.
Yep. I didn't understand it either.
Now they're taking a lot of heat. And you know what he said? Analytics.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
There we go again, analytics. And we've done it all year. I don't remember him doing it all year because I haven't seen him in very many close games.
Well, yeah, that's true as well. Yeah.
That's bullshit. Yeah. And I like the guy. He's a great coach, but he blew that one. Anyway, they came back last night and kind of silenced the critics.
Yeah. Yeah.
What they have 87 in the first half.
Yeah, they almost outscored some full numbers last night. Yeah, it was crazy.
I've never seen, but they get to rolling. Anyway, 5.5 in Denver. Give me the Thunder. I think they're going to beat them.
Yeah, I do too. I think they're back on track. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Let's just go to the other Friday game, the Cavs and the Pacers here. The Pacers have won 2 in a row in Cleveland. Cleveland's a favorite here in Indiana.
Yeah, give me the Pacers.
Give me the Pacers. Yeah, give me the Pacers for sure. I'm with you.
They've been the most impressive team there is. Well, the Knicks.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Knicks here in a second. Let's go back one day to today. Warriors T-Wolves. The Warriors win, but they've got their own issue there in Golden State. They did win game 1, but going forward, what do you think?
Well, it depends on how much long he's going to be out. I hear day to day, then I hear
I've heard a week.
Yeah. That's why that line's 10.5.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota was awful.
Yeah.
In game 1.
Yeah.
and they didn't cut into the lead at all. Curry got hurt right before the half.
Yeah.
And I thought, this game, they're in trouble. I think they were up, 13 at the half, 12, something like that.
Yep.
And I thought, Minnesota's got a shot to come back and win. No, they won by 11. They didn't chop anything off that lead. You're talking about a Golden State team that's just gritty.
Yep.
I took the Warriors today in the points. I don't know if they're going to win, but I can't see them getting blown out.
I think they'll keep it close. Yeah.
I think they will. They've got too much pride.
So then let's talk about this.
Yeah.
This is the big story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Celtics, Knicks, both nights. I didn't watch it, but I'm following it on my phone. And I'm like, yeah, Celtics, they got this.
Yeah.
Both nights I get a text from John White going, you're not going to believe this. The Celtics just lost. And then he's like, they just lost again.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I don't know. I didn't see any of the game last night, so I don't know. I was shocked when I saw the score. Not that they won, but 91-90.
Right. Yeah.
And Boston must have shot miserable again last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are they in big trouble here?
They're in big trouble.
Yeah.
They're down 2-0. They're not shooting the ball worth the crap. And when you rely on the three and they're not hitting them, they got to come up with some other. Now, what's his name's hurt? Porzingis or whatever his name is.
Yep.
He's not that good, but he's a big guy inside that they need. And he's hurt, and maybe he'll be back. I mean, they're not out of it because they're better than the Knicks. This is a team that shouldn't even be in the play in this round. Detroit should have beat them in the.
They had every chance to. Yep.
Yeah, and they're playing very gritty, but it's mainly Boston. That's the issue. They're not playing very well. So if they get their act together, I think they're going to win Game 3.
I do too. I think they're going to win Game 3, and then it's going to come down to Game 4. Yeah.
And then this one, the other Saturday game, again, can't really predict that yet because they play tonight. I'm assuming Steph will not play in this game either, probably.
Right.
Probably would then be back for the next one, I imagine.
Yeah, I've heard Game 4, Game 5. Basically.
If it's not too serious.
Yep.
So, how about Buddy Hield?
Yeah, he's playing great, isn't he?
Oklahoma guy that we loved.
Yep.
To the Final Four. Doesn't have a ton of talent, and he does, but I mean,
I don't wasn't hyped.
No. Yeah. And was just a fan favorite, great kid. Mm-hmm. He had 33 in the closeout game over Houston, and they had 24 last night or the night before, and he's been phenomenal.
Yep. That's been crazy to watch.
He's going to have to play a major role tonight.
Well, and he might.
He might. You don't have Curry to worry about, so you can shut down those other guys a little bit better than you can with Curry's out there. So but they played the whole second half with him.
Yep, and they're still able to hold him at bay. So
So anyway,
all right. Anything else you want to talk about before we go?
No, I don't think so. I do think this hockey has been incredible.
Oh yeah,
like hockey. These games are just. I mean, the playoffs are so close this year.
Yeah. Yep.
The 1-8s were similar. I mean, it's not much. Whoever comes out of this and wins the Stanley Cup, man, they're going to deserve it this year.
They've earned it. No doubt about it. They've earned it, like always, though.
Oh, man, it is so grinding. It really is. But it's been fun, and it's just the getting going,
Long way to go. Yeah. We're just barely into the second round. Yeah.
You take a team like Dallas, they had to I don't know, against Colorado, you give everything you got, and you win it, and you got to win 12 more games. And the NBA is the same way.
Yep.
It's really hard to win. So, but anyway, well, we covered an hour of our life we'll never get back. We didn't come up with any solutions at all.
No, we didn't.
And we would turn some heads and people start calling and we'll say, hey, you guys need to be on this commission we're forming to
I think a lot of people in racing want Mike Rapoli to be the commissioner, which is
no.
If he
Now
only
he did
knew.
make a good comment on this, though. I mean, I read some of the stuff he said. I thought,
oh, did he?
Yeah, he was saying we've got to change. We need to change this, and he is an owner, so you have to kind of listen to something that he says. I mean, he knows more about horses than we do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's in the, he's influential. Maybe not in a totally great way, but
yeah,
I do listen to what he says. So,
well, that'll do it. I think we've got we covered a lot. One of our better shows, I think.
Well,
I do say so myself.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We'll be back. Magic Mike show is coming up at 3:00. I'm sure we'll talk about this.
Why are we still calling it the Magic Mike show?
Well, I think Magic's coming back.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I think once he is done with baby duty, he's going to be back.
Yeah.
At least that's what he told me.
So he gets a month paternity leave.
I think
2 months, whatever he decides.
I don't know what, like, now that he works for like for a company that they have to follow like the guidelines. There's like a state rule in California. You got to have a certain amount of time.
Okay.
Like he literally would be illegal for him to go back to work.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I don't know if that's 8 or 12 weeks. I'm not sure.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that for the husband.
Because he told me July, I believe.
Is that right?
He'd be back. Or did he say June? I don't remember now. I don't know. I'll have to ask him again.
I've never heard of the father getting that much time, but
no,
that's some union things.
And I don't know. I think in certain states, let me see. Let's Google it.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. Certain companies have better paternity leaves than others do.
Let's see. Yeah, you get 12 weeks.
That's 3 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see. It looks like 8 weeks paid, 12 weeks unpaid. Seems to be what I'm reading.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's illegal. I'm just saying I said that wrong. It's not illegal for him to go back to work, but it would be illegal for them to like take away his job. If he didn't go back. After 12 weeks, then it's legal.
Okay.
To take away his job. Yeah. But I think that's a California rule. I don't think that's a state to state though. I think state makes different rules on that.
Yeah. In the old days, the father got 8 hours.
Yeah, I know. Well, when he had his first one, he's like, well, technically 12 weeks is what you have to legally give me. And I was like, well, I'm not taking your job away, period. But I was like, 12 weeks, really? He's like, oh, I'll be back in like 2 or 3. And he did. He came back in like 3. Yeah. But yeah. I think, he works for FanDuel. So they can't ask him to come back. I don't think so. It's up to him.
Yeah, that's what it was. And it seemed to me like the mom maybe got a month, but I was thinking it was more like 3 weeks.
Ron says in Indiana, he doesn't think you get 12 hours.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about a male, and that's the way it was. I mean, you would call them and say, hey, I think we're going to have the baby today. And they go, okay. And they go, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Or if it's late in the night, don't worry about tomorrow. But we'll see you the next day.
Again, I don't know what his plan is, but yeah, he's.
Well, I mean, that's the way it is now, but it should be, I guess. But I'm not saying it shouldn't, but that's the way it used to be, Well,
so there's New York too. Parental bonding time, 12 weeks.
Yeah, you need that.
So there you go. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
It's. I'm not arguing that it's. Not necessary, but
yeah. But anyway, he's sure not coming back to the Magic Mike show anytime soon. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think I'm there for a couple months. So
yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well, that's right. Okay.
Okay. Ernest, I think he's a little bit behind, probably watching. Said they always have an asterisk by their name, basically, if they change it, and that's that a lot of people think that way. But
go ahead.
Does all the baseball teams have asterisks by their name that they won when they were the wild card? I don't know. Some people might think that way, but I don't think.
I want to know when the pitcher comes in the 10th inning, and there's a runner at second base.
And
you didn't have anything to do with that runner being at second base.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up scoring. Do you get charged an earned run?
That runner does not count. That runner.
Do you get a loss?
Yes.
Do you lose the game? You get a loss, and you come into the
loss, but that runner doesn't count on your ERA.
Well, that should be an asterisk beside their losses too, shouldn't it?
Well, I mean, the point of the matter is all the sports have evolved and changed. And like, does Ohio State have an asterisk because they weren't, in the old systems for 100 years, they wouldn't have been in the championship. I mean, exactly. You can say or do whatever you want, but the point is all the sports evolve. So I get the idea of it's not going to be the same. And I can definitely say it wouldn't be the same, but all the sports evolve. So,
yeah. And I guess keep going back. We don't have a Triple Crown now because we're not running it. So
it's true. They did the last 2 years, you idiot. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Oh gosh. It's just disappointing.
You're just trying to get clicks. It's like, if I can get clicks a whole lot of different ways than that. So
and it's just disappointing.
So, okay, we got to get out of here.
Yeah,
we'll be back next week for this show. We'll be back later today. Magic Mike coming up at 3. Should be fun. All right, guys.
We'll be back for the Preakness next week, but we won't give a shit about it.
No, we'll give a shit about it.
Okay.
Just nobody else but the people watching will.
That's right. Oh, God.
Come back next week where all of us will care about the Preakness and none of your friends will know it's running. Don't change it. All right, we'll be back, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
This is due to Bet Sports.